The cardinal symptoms of common migraine are headache and nausea. Complementing these may be a remarkable variety of other major symptoms, in addition to minor disorders and physiological changes of which the patient may not be aware. Presiding over the entire attack there will be, in Dubois-Reymond's words, a general feeling of disorder, which may be experienced in either physical or emotional terms, and tax or elude the patient's powers of description. Great variability of symptoms is characteristic not only of attacks in different patients but between successive attacks in the same patient. These, then, are the ingredients of a common migraine. We will list and describe them one by one, while understanding that migrainous symptoms never occur in such schematic isolation, but are linked to one another in various ways. Some symptoms are conjoined to form characteristic constellations, while others present themselves in a definite and often dramatic order, so that we may recognize a basic sequence to the attacks. Headache. The character of the pains varied very much. Most frequently, they were of a hammering, throbbing, or pushing nature, in other cases pressing and dull, boring with sense of bursting, pricking, rending, stretching, piercing, and radiating. In a few cases it felt as if a wedge was pressed into the head, or like an ulcer, or as if the brain was torn or pressed outwards. Peters, 1853. Migraine headache is traditionally described as a violent throbbing pain in one temple, and not infrequently takes this form. It is impossible, however, to specify a constant site, quality, or intensity, for in the course of a specialized practice one will encounter all conceivable varieties of head pain in the context of migraine. Wolfe, whose experience is unmatched in this area, has stated, 1963, "The sites of the migraine headache are notably temporal, supraorbital, frontal, retrobulbar, parietal, post-auricular, and occipital. They may occur as well in the malar region, in the upper and the lower teeth, at the base of the nose, in the median wall of the orbit, in the neck, and in the region of the common carotid arteries, and down as far as the tip of the shoulder." One may say, however, that migraine headache is unilateral in onset, more frequently than not, although it tends to become diffuse in distribution later in the attack. One side is generally attacked by preference, and in a few patients there may be an invariable left or right-sided involvement throughout life. More commonly, there is only a relative preference, often associated with the severity of pain. Severe frequent hemicrania on one side with mild occasional hemicrania on the opposite side. A number of patients complain of an alternation of hemicrania from one side to the other in successive attacks, or even in the same attack. At least a third of all patients experience a bilateral or diffuse headache, holocrania, from the outset of the attack. The quality of migraine headache is similarly variable. Throbbing occurs in less than half of all cases, and in these may characterize the headache only at its inception, soon giving way to a steady aching. Continued throbbing throughout the attack is uncommon and occurs chiefly in those who drive themselves to continued physical activity despite a migraine. Throbbing, when it occurs, is synchronized with arterial pulsation and may be accompanied by visible pulsation of extracranial arteries.